The latest episode of Hollyoaks has left fans reeling with an explosive twist. Ethan Williams is dead, and the mystery of his untimely demise has cast a shadow over what was supposed to be a joyous wedding day. The storyline, packed with drama, tension, and emotional chaos, has now morphed into a gripping whodunit that promises to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Let's dive deep into the events that transpired during Sienna Blake and Ethan Williams' ill-fated wedding, a day that ended not in love, but in tragedy. The day began with a sense of foreboding. Robbie Roscoe, never one to hold back, dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the wedding party. Ethan had cheated on Sienna with Vicky Grant last Christmas. The revelation wasn't entirely new for Sienna. She had known about Ethan's infidelity and, in a desperate attempt to salvage their relationship, had already forgiven him. But for her family, this news was as fresh as it was devastating. They were blindsided, left questioning Sienna's decision to stand by a man who had betrayed her so deeply. As the wedding day loomed, the family's support crumbled, and Sienna was left to convince them that she had moved on from Ethan's mistake. Her sisters, and even her long-lost father Jez, were reluctant to offer their blessing. Still, Sienna was determined to have them by her side, no matter the cost. While Sienna was busy attempting to hold her crumbling family together, Ethan was having his own crisis. After a rough night, he woke up in a less-than-ideal location, the allotments, disoriented and disheveled. Enter Maxine Miniver, who, in true Hollyoaks fashion, stepped in to help him clean up and get ready for his wedding. But despite her best efforts, the day was already spiraling out of control. Ethan, in a moment of panic, sought out Vicky in secret before the ceremony. He begged her to let him move on, to leave the past where it belonged. But even as he pleaded, Ethan couldn't resist throwing in a few flirtatious comments, calling Vicky gorgeous and even rating her a 10 out of 10. It was a moment that would come back to haunt him. The wedding itself, though visually perfect, was undercut by the weight of these unresolved tensions. Ethan and Sienna exchanged vows, but the shadow of infidelity hung over them like a dark cloud. Just when it seemed like the worst was over, Vicky made her dramatic reappearance, this time armed with a drink and a thirst for revenge. Outside the church, she threw her drink over Sienna in a shocking display of anger and resentment. "A drink to celebrate. Enjoy it while it lasts until he's knocking on my door again," she sneered, her words dripping with venom. Sienna, humiliated and enraged, lunged at Vicky only to be held back by her sisters. Liberty Savage, always the voice of reason, urged her to stay calm, not to stoop to Vicky's level. But the damage was done. Vicky had planted the seed of doubt, and the cracks in Sienna's trust were growing wider by the second. Vicky wasn't finished. With a wicked grin, she revealed that Ethan had called her gorgeous just an hour before the wedding. Sienna's fury was palpable. Ethan, scrambling to cover his tracks, insisted that his words had been taken out of context. But Vicky's final blow was the most devastating of all. She revealed that she had been pregnant with Ethan's child, and that he had paid for her abortion. The guests, the family, and most importantly Sienna, were left in stunned silence. For Sienna, this revelation was the final straw. "An unwanted pregnancy is a mistake I'm never going to get over," she screamed, her voice cracking with pain. The trust, the forgiveness, everything she had fought to rebuild was now shattered beyond repair. What followed was chaos. In a fit of rage, Sienna attacked Ethan, fists flying as the two fought outside the church in front of horrified onlookers. The fight was messy, emotional, and raw, a physical manifestation of the betrayal, anger, and heartbreak that had been simmering beneath the surface. The guests could only watch in shock as the couple, who had just exchanged vows, descended into violence. And as the dust settled, the tension reached a boiling point. Sienna stormed off, leaving Ethan behind, pleading for forgiveness. But for Sienna, forgiveness was no longer an option. The final moments of the episode were nothing short of shocking. The wedding reception had barely started when the guests heard a massive thud coming from outside. Rushing to investigate, they found Ethan's lifeless body draped over a car, blood pooling on the ground beneath him. The horror was immediate. Ethan was dead, and the question on everyone's mind was simple. Who killed him? The suspects are many. Sienna, betrayed and broken, certainly had motive. Vicky, humiliated and vengeful, was no stranger to violent outbursts. Jez, Liberty, and even some of the wedding guests all had their reasons to despise Ethan. The mystery of who pushed Ethan from the balcony is now the burning question, and as Hollyoaks fans know all too well, the answer won't come easily. In true Hollyoaks fashion, this storyline has everything: betrayal, heartbreak, and now, a murder mystery that promises to keep viewers hooked. Ethan Williams' death marks the beginning of a new chapter in the lives of Sienna and the rest of the Hollyoaks residents, and the consequences of this shocking event will no doubt ripple through the weeks to come. The stage is set and the question remains: who killed Ethan and why? Stay tuned, because this story is just getting started.